We'll get to Kevin Durant in just a second, but first, March Madness, Zion with the big-time block. Look at, he's got a duck so he doesn't hit the backboard.
I've never seen a player in a short period of time have to duck more on the backboard than him.
100% agree. And he didn't even have like a real running start there. It was like 1.5
So
steps.
explosive.
Spurs and Kings, and that was Rudy Gay.
I love this guy,
down.
see?
Man, Rudy Gay, man, such a solid player. I love the way he plays, man. He's a slasher, got that sweet little jump shot, perfect form.
Oh, Trey.
Hawks and Bucks, Trae Young making a miraculous buzzer beater to top the Bucks in overtime.
Does your law firm represent him, man?
We do. And we were early adopters of Trae Young now, see, when people were skeptical of him at Oklahoma. Tough. Malcolm Brown, or Sterling Brown, pardon me, for the Bucks. He misses a game winner at the end of regulation, then thinks he hits the game winner at the end of overtime, only to have that happen to him.
Time to play Take Your Pick. You want in?
Yeah, we'd love to.
I pick you, Jenna, over there.
Oh, okay.
That's
Love
so
you guys.
sweet.
All right, Tom Izzo saw his Spartans take down Mike Krzyzewski's Duke Blue Devils yesterday. What's all this mumbling? Izzo is now just 2-11 against Coach K all time. So who would you rather play for, Izzo or Coach K? See, let's start with you. Take your pick.
Now, this is tough because you have two of the best. For me, it's about style. I like the style of Big Ten basketball. I got recruited, got offered a scholarship by everyone in the Big Ten. I like Coach Izzo, too, because he uses a lot of football references. He brings out helmets and shoulder pads on his rebounding and pick and drills. So, Coach Izzo for me, but this is tough because, man, going to Duke with Coach K, the best of the best, but Coach Izzo for me personally.
And Coach K is arguably the greatest college basketball coach ever, not named John Wooden. I'm also going to go with Coach Izzo. Now, neither one of these guys is exactly, I think, the style of coach that I would adopt to the best because they're such yellers. But, hold on, see, just hold on.
Hot.
But Izzo, to me, is so clearly, it has affection and long-term commitment with his players. I don't see that with Coach K as much. Coach K, it is more of a boss-employee relationship. I don't hear a lot of stories about long-term relationships into the adult years with Coach K and his players. You see that with Coach Izzo with all of his guys.
So if you're my son and I'm out there looking for a college, what type of style coach am I looking for you, sir?
For me, more like Mark Few, Gonzaga. We're going to reason with each other. We're going to talk. Listen, we don't need to raise our voices. Yeah, there are some successful coaches.
So I'm getting ready to try to make you play at a level I got to reason with you?
Listen, it worked for Brad Stevens. It's worked for Mark Few. There are some coaches that aren't yellers. They're not all yellers. Just some are yellers.
If the NBA playoffs
I got some reason for you
today, guys, the Warriors would hold the 1 seed with the Thunder and Spurs jockeying for the 8 seed to take on the back-to-back defending champs. So which team would Golden State rather see in round 1, the Thunder or Spurs? See, take your pick.
I'll take the Spurs. I'm sure that they looking at it from a matchup, especially from a backcourt standpoint. It's not going to stress out Clay and Steph as far as who they're going to have to guard. Even though Pop is one of the best, if not the best in the business, they present less challenges to the Warriors in their chance of three-peating.
100% agree with you. And we shouldn't act as if DeMar DeRozan's postseason struggles ended just because he changed countries and conferences. Like, DeMar DeRozan, the next great playoff series he has in a big moment will be the first. And so the Thunder, while they've been flawed, and the last few weeks really, they have shown a lot of weaknesses, their best game is still an elite level. They have an MVP almost candidate in Paul George and a former MVP in Russell Westbrook. The Warriors wouldn't be afraid of either of these teams, but they'll be bummed if they draw the Thunder in round 1.
All right, on to the East now. The Bucks have the best record in basketball with the Raptors and Sixers trying to knock off the favorites in the conference. So who is the bigger threat to Milwaukee? Is it Toronto or is it Philly? Nick, take your pick.
To me, I think it's Philly. I think Philly's got the best starting 5 in the Eastern Conference, and Philly's best game is better than Toronto's best game. And the Philly's weakness is one that against the Bucks isn't going to be exploited as much. And so I like Philly as opposed to Toronto against the Bucks.
I'm going with Toronto. I like the depth. I like their superstar in Kawhi, how he would be able to go off and on Giannis. And if there's an advantage between them and Philadelphia, if it's one thing, I would say coaching.
Yeah.
I believe that Nurse is a better coach than Brett Brown and what he's doing in Philadelphia. That's still a question mark about Philadelphia on the road and their head coach.
Nurse won't win Coach of the Year after Dwayne Casey just won it last year in Toronto, but he has been outstanding as a first-year head coach. Outstanding.
All right, let's end with some NFL. Vegas released win totals for the upcoming season. The Cowboys are projected 8.5, while the Eagles are at 9.5. So which team is more likely to win the NFC East, Cowboys or Eagles? See, take your pick.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
Yay.
I believe that the Eagles, top to bottom, have a better roster. I believe that this offseason, after not having all the Super Bowl banquets, writing books, doing all these late-night shows, all the things, they still have to be recovering from that parade. They had to be drunk for like 6 months off of that thing. They got intoxicated. So I believe Carson Wentz coming back, reestablishing himself with leadership. Sometimes when you don't have that backup there, it really helps that starter. Quarterbacks are not into competition.
That's interesting.
Other positions are into competition, but quarterbacks aren't typically used to winning their jobs out, and I believe that Wentz thrives with Nick Foles gone to Jacksonville.
So that's a really interesting way of looking at it, because I was looking at the loss of Nick Foles.
Yeah,
I was looking at the loss of Nick Foles as a major negative for them, because if Carson Wentz gets even just dinged, as he has each of the last 2 years, 2 years ago, much more than dinged, they have a major gaping hole at backup quarterback. But if he's healthy, does that make him better throughout the year, not having Foles looking over his shoulder? I'll still say Dallas, because I think Dallas knows who they are more than the Philadelphia Eagles do. I also think the loss of Michael Bennett for Philadelphia is a significant one. When they won their Super Bowl, it was the rotation of pass rushers. It was the ability to send up waves of people at the quarterback. I think Dallas could win the division in back-to-back years for the first time in what since the triplets were there. So I'll go with Dallas as the favorites to win the NFC East.
All right, good stuff. Got to take a break. Coming up, does LeBron James have any chance of turning things around out in Los Angeles? That's next on First Things First.
He got a better chance of turning around that midsection of his hair.